and welcome to Season 2, Race 3 of my F1 2021 My Team Career Mode with Acura Team Penske. And we are here in Imola for the Grand Prix name that I cannot even remember, or even the Emilia Romagna Grand Prix. Whatever. It's Imola, folks. It's Imola. We qualified P4. The Mercedes swept the front row, and surprisingly, Carlos Sainz. Great qualifying effort in his Ferrari to get third. And the Red Bulls in the mud a little bit. Sergio Perez in sixth, Vettel in ninth. Perhaps this car, or this track, does not suit their car. Well, that qualifying result could be a good day for Max Verstappen if they run where they started. He could easily take the point lead. So, yeah, it should be fun to see what happens here. Imola, always a interesting track to drive. Leading the rivalry with Lance Stroll. And yeah, just going through here, just getting ready for the race.
All right, I think we can call that a successful qualifying. We should be in with a good chance in the race.
All right. Getting ready for the Imola Grand Prix. Weather had some mixed conditions and rain in the practice sessions, but third practice was full rain, but the race is full dry, so that's a good sign. Moved up in the performance. We jumped Alfa Romeo, which is good. Actually, by a pretty healthy margin there. Right on the doorstep of Aston Martin and AlphaTauri. We have a minor, a major, and a minor coming in. And we could probably go with some more upgrades. Okay, that was weird. Let's go... Okay, it's showing the upgrade. It's not properly showing the upgrades for some reason. So we can't get anything just yet in the aero. Side of things, so we can get some chassis stuff. So we'll go with a tire blanket. I just think it's good to help the tire wear on the car. It's always good. Give us an advantage over the competition. Want to do reliability. Find an area that's most in need. Also isn't that expensive. We'll go with MGUK reliability testing. Help out the reliability a bit there. And yeah, so we got a good, healthy slate of developments coming in over the course of the next several weeks, which is good. So, being said, we can go straight into a race here at Imola.
Hello there and welcome back to Imola, home circuit of the Scuderia Ferrari. We expect to see a lot of local supporters in red today. They've all turned out for what we have every expectation of being a sensational event here at the Emilia-Romagna Grand Prix. 3.1 miles of track here at Imola featuring 19 turns, 9 to the right and 10 to the left. Remember that Imola differs from most other Formula One circuits as it's driven anti-clockwise. Let's hope no one forgets that today. The exit from turn 18 will probably be the setup for many of today's overtakes, leading as it does into the longest straight of the circuit and its only DRS zone. Alongside me once again for coverage of today's race, it's none other than the great Anthony Davidson. Let me ask you about Alpine. We've had some changes to the regulations, of course, which mainly revolve around the chassis this year. And unfortunately, the early signs are that they've not adapted particularly well.
It doesn't look promising for them so far. And if the new regs have hit them as hard as we think, well, I suspect they may need a few late nights at the factory to get back on track.
Off the back of a fantastic qualifying session, it's time to see how our starting grid looks for today's race. Young superstar Max Verstappen starts from pole position, and Lewis Hamilton completes the front row. Looking at the rest of today's grid, we have Sainz, the Golden Boy, Daniel Ricciardo and Perez, Leclerc, Norris, Vettel and Pierre Gasly, Russell, Bottas, Antonio Giovinazzi and Stroll, Fernando Alonso, Tsunoda, Esteban Ocon and Christian Lundgaard, Mick Schumacher, Tictum, Latifi and Nikita Mazepin.
Now that we've got some points on the board, let's continue this form and aim for another top 10 finish.
All right. Let's check strategy. It says a one stop. Should be the case. But we'll see how it goes through the race.
Everything looks good on the power unit cycle, so let's concentrate on bringing tyres and brakes up to temperature. The drivers we're racing are Sainz and Ricciardo. Radar is clear, weather is looking good for now. Dries seem like the fastest tyre at the moment.
I'm a little curious to see how this start plays out. Just because you have the Mercedes in the front row, and in particular Hamilton has not been good with his starts so far. Carlos Sainz obviously curious to see how he does off the line. And the Red Bulls, but particularly Sebastian Vettel, have been very good off the line. Vettel, actually, 2 races in a row, has had just absolute, incredible starts. So, I wonder if Vettel can improve off the line like he has in the previous 2 races. Go. Coming to the line. Get ready to start here at Imola. Again, the Mercedes are on pole with Verstappen and Hamilton. Carlos Sainz alongside us. Got Daniel Ricciardo, Sergio Perez right
Keep an eye
behind
on
us.
the lights. The start sequence will begin as soon as the grid has formed. Be ready with the clutch.
Long race in Imola, 32 laps. Here we go, 5 red lights. And we're underway. Oh, look at this, Carlos Sainz, what a start. He's taking it 3 wide. But he backs out of it. Ooh, bit of contact between the Mercedes. Verstappen's gonna get the edge. We're trying to get the spot back from Ricciardo, meanwhile. So pause to adjust the volume a little bit in my headphones. That was a fun start. Really thought Sainz was going to have them there, but he, you know, really should be going through three wide through that corner anyway. So, that part of the track is very tricky. Just a double right-hander. Can especially put a lot of wear on the tires. Yeah, for now, Verstappen leads from Hamilton, Sainz, and myself. So it's basically, through all that chaos in the first half of the lap, the running order is what the starting order was. 1 through 5 are still 1 through 5. Of course, next lap will be the DRS, though in only one DRS zone here in Imola, and it's the pit straight. So, starting to lose ground to Sainz a little bit. About 1.3 seconds behind. Of course, Carlos Sainz is coming off a very solid season 1 where he won 2 races.
DRS is being enabled this lap. We can use DRS when you are within 1 second of the car ahead and in the DRS zone.
Off the track a little bit there. But all is good. We stay focused on running our position. Trying to track down Carlos Sainz, if we can. I think I could take it a little bit sharper angle at that second part of the corner. That's better. Not by much, but it's better. I said second part of the corner. I meant to say the second part of that complex of corners. Looks like we're going to be within DRS range of Carlos Sainz, which is good. At least stay in contact with him. He'll probably have DRS on Hamilton, maybe? Hamilton's about a second ahead. Doesn't look like he has DRS, and actually
We're leading our teammate by 4.0 seconds.
we've dropped Daniel Ricciardo. I wonder if something happened to Ricciardo. No, it might have just been a case of, maybe he just fell right out of DRS range, and that allowed him to drop back into the clutches of Leclerc. I don't know. I felt like that him losing ground to me was very sudden, as him and Leclerc now battle for position. And I think Ricciardo, despite being the one without the DRS, will maintain the spot. We'll hold on to P5. Well, that's not a good view. There we go. A little bit of tire bang. And there you go. Little purple sector 1. Go to a mid-session save. And we don't even really need to necessarily pass Carlos Sainz. If we could just stay in his DRS, stay onto his toe, and just build a gap to Ricciardo and Leclerc behind, that's good enough for me, to be honest. High rate of speed, gaining on Carlos Sainz, though in no real position to make a pass. As Leclerc and Ricciardo go at it again, same situation. Just looks like Leclerc is just unable to complete the pass. I mean, it looks like he's got mostly done here. And then you go through the first couple of corners, and Ricciardo just has the better line. And really, Ricciardo... Oops, I missed that. Missed that corner. And at this point, it feels like Ricciardo really is the one holding up the cars behind him at this stage. Because you look, you got the two Mercedes, then Sainz and myself, and we're slowly but surely stretching the gap to Ricciardo. I could have done that a little bit better. Now I think we're going to be able to finally make a move on Sainz. Here we go. For third place, we're going to take the spot, but meanwhile, in front of us, it looks like Lewis Hamilton has made a move for the lead on Max Verstappen. And he's going to easily get by Verstappen before they even get to the corner. And then behind us, Leclerc looked to try to make a move on Ricciardo. Ricciardo cut him off. We've now gotten by Carlos Sainz, and we have moved into third place. Now we're trying to chase down those
Gap to car in
Mercedes.
front is 2.0 seconds.
I don't think we're going to win this race, but we can certainly give it our best shot.
That was the fastest lap of the race. Keep this up. Gap to teammate behind is 7.6 seconds.
We get more battling in front. Verstappen trying to get back by Hamilton again. Hamilton puts on the brakes, holds him back. But all that's going to do is allow me to catch back up, as I think Leclerc finally got by Daniel Ricciardo. Let's see here. Yep, he's going to finally get the position on Ricciardo after 3 or 4 laps of trying. He's finally gotten the spot. The Ferrari is faster than the McLaren right now in terms of pure pace. So now Ricciardo will fall into the clutches of Sergio Perez in the Red Bull. As we try to get Carlos Sainz out of our DRS window.
Tire condition is still looking good.
Chicanes like that will certainly help. And we've actually got DRS on Verstappen, so now we're really going to start to pull away from Carlos Sainz and Ferrari. As Verstappen closing on Hamilton, closing. Looks like he's going to try to make a move. Try to go right, then left. Didn't work out. He sticks behind Hamilton and remains in P2. It's still very weird to see Verstappen and Hamilton on the same team. It's really got, it's got, you know, vibes of Hamilton and Alonso from McLaren in 2007. Though the only difference being that, you know, in this case, they're the last 2 world champions. Verstappen in 2021, Hamilton in 2020. And, you know, all the... I really didn't expect the driver market to shake out the way it did in terms of, you know, the types of moves we were going to see. And Bottas going to Alfa Romeo was cool. It matches up with real life, of course. My former teammate Christian Lundgaard going to
the pit window. You'll be on the hards.
Alfa Romeo to take that spot. Again, I mainly, as did Verstappen retake the lead? Oh, they're side by side. They're side by side again. Hamilton's going to maintain the spot. Go back and take a look. As you can see, Lewis Hamilton and Max Verstappen battling for the lead. That Verstappen got a little squirrely there. So go around, going side by side. Verstappen tries. The problem with Verstappen is that he was in the same sort of area where Leclerc was for the longest time, and the car on the left is going to have the advantage, and Ricciardo did with Leclerc was battling with him, and this time Hamilton has the edge over Verstappen. That's allowed us to, you know, get right back into it. And they really shouldn't be battling, because that's allowed me to get right in here. And suddenly I'm right behind Max Verstappen. Actually, I haven't even checked the pit window, so I don't even know when we're supposed to pit. It's lap 11 to 12. Tire wear, not too bad. The right front is in the worst shape of the lot. I mean, the strategy is pretty straightforward with the one stop, and I feel like the best move to make is to just pit whenever the Mercedes in front of us pits. Actually, didn't even check the tires. Everyone's on softs, except for Esteban Ocon.
They're in 15th. The difference is 11.6 seconds. The time last lap was a 1 minute 20.1.
Oh, Verstappen trying to... went the other way around. So we just talked about the different lanes to those first couple corners. And Verstappen went the other way this time. Went on the left side. And ends up taking back the lead. So Verstappen back to the point here in the race here at Imola. And gotta give some credit to Carlos Sainz. He's hanging in tough here. He's only 1.3 seconds behind. I think what's happening here is that
We're boxing this lap. Give us
the
the best
battling
good luck you
between
can.
Verstappen and Hamilton is backing me back up into Carlos Sainz. Alright, so the pit window opens now. And I think I just saw that some people pitted. Where's Leclerc? Oh, okay, Leclerc going for a two-stop strategy, apparently? Not too sure that's going to work out well for him. But as I was, as I was saying earlier, excuse me, I feel like my best bet for pit strategy is to go with one of the Mercedes, particularly, probably the best bet would be to go with the Mercedes that pits second. Because I feel like whoever pits first will inevitably get stuck in traffic. So my hope, or I think the plan I'm going to enact here is I'll just go with whoever pits. Whoever doesn't pit, I will go with them. Whether that's Hamilton or Verstappen, whoever pits second or whoever stays out on track, I'll go with them. Because I feel like the guy who pits first is going to get stuck in traffic, and I don't want to be in that traffic. Oh, and that's Hamilton, so we will pit with Verstappen. It's obviously under, under green flag
We're
conditions.
leading our teammate by 11.3 seconds.
Green flag conditions, not everyone's going to pit at once, obviously. So, you got to get some cars staying out. There's Sainz coming in for his stop, sliding out there. Ricardo getting held up by the Red Bull coming out. I believe that was, which Red Bull was that? That was Perez. So Perez, Ricardo. I believe this is Alonso. that looks like a long stop for Fernando. Looks like he pulled into his pit. And he's just sitting there waiting a while. That's interesting. Maybe they weren't, maybe it was a late call, maybe they weren't ready for him to come in. So, Hamilton might get stuck behind Ocon. I'm not sure. It'll depend on how he comes out on track. Alright, let's go back and see where Hamilton is. Alright, so Hamilton actually does come out behind a couple cars. He's stuck between the Haas of Mick Schumacher and the Alfa Romeo of Lundgaard and the Alpine of Ocon, which is interesting because Ocon started on the mediums, so he's going to be theoretically staying out for a few more laps here. So, like I said, the traffic was going to play a factor, and it looks like, as I kind of expected, it's worked out in our favor.
Confirmed. We'll receive you at the end of this lap. Say again, you're breaking up. Copy that. Hards for next box.
Actually, I haven't done a mid-session save yet, so I'll go and do that now. Alright, gonna be diving into the pits.
Pitting this lap then. Come into the pits at the end of this lap.
With Max Verstappen. So I have a long way to go before I get to my pit. It's the very end of pit road.
Antonio is in the pits. Antonio in the pits.
Oh, that's unfortunate.
Exit
Antonio
now.
might lose some ground here.
Okay, stay clear of the white line on the
Ooh,
exit.
Ocon, here he
comes,
comes, and we're just gonna beat him out. So we just barely went out. Oh, Hamilton slowed up even more. He's gonna be fuming with how this has worked out for him. Hamilton stuck behind a couple of slower cars has completely ruined his race. I mean, they went side by side through this section. It's just ruined it for Hamilton, and that's going to bring Carlos Sainz into it. That's going to bring... I don't know who's behind Carlos Sainz, position-wise, who has already stopped Leclerc. So it's going to bring both of the Ferraris into play for the podium position. Which, after, you know, the start he got to the season, not what Lewis Hamilton wants to see. Now, Verstappen is still not in the lead just yet. A couple cars who still haven't stopped. I have to think Lundgaard pits this lap. I can't imagine him staying out for another lap on those soft tires. Well, things might have worked out for Hamilton now because Leclerc and Sainz are now stuck behind Esteban Ocon, but I think Ocon just pitted, so I guess that doesn't matter anymore. And of course, Leclerc on the softs. We know he has to make another stop, so I completely screw up that complex of corners. Yuki Tsunoda is second currently. Race leader is George Russell. So, Russell, this is not the first time this season, and it's very early, but it's not the first time this season that Russell has stayed out a little while longer on tires in his Aston Martin. So, give credit to Russell. He's doing a very solid job getting the most out of the tire performance in that Aston Martin.
Okay, gap ahead is 2.8 seconds. The gap to the car behind is 2.0 seconds.
Russell and Tsunoda are in the pits now. Russell and Tsunoda, interestingly, going for the mediums, as they're banking on stretching their runs there to be on a better tire, or a faster tire compared to the guys around them. Okay, if Russell and Tsunoda are able to make that work for them, then more power to them. So, I think everyone is pitted. So, race order. Verstappen, Newgarden, Hamilton, Leclerc, Sainz. Obviously, Leclerc has to pit again. So, effectively, Sainz is 4th, Perez is 5th, Ricciardo 6th, Vettel 7th, Norris 8th, Russell 9th, and Pierre Gasly will be effective P10 once Leclerc dives into the pits. Speaking of Leclerc, he's putting Lewis Hamilton under a lot of pressure right now. And I mean, if I were Hamilton, I would just let Leclerc go, especially because Leclerc is, gonna have to pit again. There's no real reason to fight him. He's faster. He's on a different strategy. Leclerc's definitely making that move, and he will, for the moment, move into P3 here at Imola. Wide, off track. Leclerc will have DRS on me. Coming down the main straight.
You're dropping a second a lap to the car behind, 1 second. The car ahead is 3 seconds up on you.
Ooh, ran a little wide again. Leclerc really going to close up now. Question is, will he go another lap? Will he pit? Leclerc stays on track. Initially has some trouble, but we're just going to let him by.
Okay, we've lost the position. That's us down a place.
Again, no real need to fight Leclerc, given that he is on a different strategy. We know because he went soft tire to soft tire that he will, and he must pit again per the regulations to go onto a different tire compound. So we are still effectively P2. I am going to get DRS on Leclerc, so at least he can help me tow myself closer to him and further away from Hamilton, who does not have DRS. So Leclerc inadvertently helping me out a little bit. Put some distance between myself and the other Mercedes. Would be nice if I didn't screw up the corners. Oh, and we have our first retirement as Valtteri Bottas is out of the Grand Prix. Of course, he was running a very solid start to the season in his new ride. With 2 straight points finishes. But that's going to come to an end here. Imola. He was out of the points though anyway. Yeah, Bottas was out of the points anyway, so that retirement really doesn't shake things up that much, if at all. Will Leclerc pit this time, or will he go another lap? He will pit this time. Thankfully, we got the DRS for at least one more lap. Help us out in our fight with Hamilton.
Yellow flag.
Get a little more time between us and the 7-time world champion.
Green flag.
Coming off a little bit there. The running order as it stands, you've got, the top 4, obviously myself included, are pretty much separated, Verstappen about 3 seconds, over 3 seconds ahead of me. Hamilton is about 2 and change behind me. And then you've got Carlos Sainz, who's sort of by himself, 3 seconds behind Hamilton, about just a little under 4 behind Perez. And then really you have a big train of cars with both Red Bulls, both McLarens, the Aston Martin of George Russell, and the AlphaTauri
19.5 seconds
of Pierre Gasly. And it's a shame for Russell and Gasly, because although they have fresher tires, being on the mediums, the problem for them is that they can't, because you know, Imola is such a hard track to pass on. They really can't take advantage of it, especially especially in a DRS train, because if they were by themselves, it was just one-on-one, they probably would have passed, you know, one of the McLarens right after the pit stop. The problem is they're in that train, which makes it very difficult, you know, again, Imola, very hard to pass. So they're all just sort of kind of stuck there, riding around in P5 through P9, just in a line. They really can't do anything unless somebody makes a mistake or tires from the race. Yeah, once again, a very strong start for Valtteri Bottas. It's a shame that he's fallen out of the race. You know, he scored points both in Bahrain and China in the Alfa Romeo, but that will not continue today. He is out of the Grand Prix. Yeah, I don't think we're going to be able to catch Max Verstappen. What we can do is just continue to attempt to solidify our P2. And we have grown the gap a bit to Lewis Hamilton. It's now was hovering around 2.7, 2.8 seconds. Which is pretty good, right where you want to, you know, as long as we're, you know, anywhere out of DRS range is good, but it is nice to see that our gap to Hamilton is growing. Now almost 3 seconds. And I don't know if we're going to be running into lap traffic at any point. Maybe at the very end of the race, but at least from what I've seen on the minimap, it doesn't look like we're about to run into traffic. So that probably won't be an issue, as I think we've got some action going up behind as Sergio Perez battling for position with, I think, one of the McLarens. It's Daniel Ricciardo. We're going to get by the Red Bull driver. Unable to get by. And the battle rages on. And I have to be honest here, I'm a little surprised that we're actually gaining slightly on Max Verstappen. I felt like the gap was 2.6, 2.7 seconds, but now it's, you know, just barely down to 2 seconds.
The car behind is dropping back by about 3/10 a lap. Careful, we think you're going to start losing some tyre grip around now.
Yeah, looks like we were making progress, but feels like the gap has stabilized. Talk about how we might have stalled out, but we just set the fastest sector 3 of the race, so if we could put it together, we might be onto something as I spy with my little eye some lap cars in the distance. Or at least a lap car. Looks like it's one of the Haas's. Probably Mazepin, if I had to guess.
This pace is strong, but be aware your tyres need to go the distance.
Oh no, George Russell! George Russell running so well. Tire strategy working for him once again, but it looks like he is done. Look at that engine just go on his machine. And George Russell will be out here at Imola. Do you look at the running order? That's going to put Lance Stroll currently into the top 10. Don't know how far he is ahead of Fernando Alonso. So that could be a bit of a dogfight for the final points paying position, depending on how close Alonso is to Stroll. And Stroll's actually a ways ahead, so I think he might have P10 secure, but we'll wait and see on that.
Caution, caution.
Coming up on Mazepin, but we're right behind Verstappen now.
There's 5 laps of fuel remaining.
We're both gonna have DRS. Me,
Okay,
I'm so
clear.
close to Verstappen, and Meeks, I'm so close to Verstappen, and
We're
Verstappen's
leading
close to
our teammate
Mazepin.
by 32.4 seconds.
Mazepin plays it smart. It's out of the way of the leaders as the fight for the win is well and truly on. In its DRS range. Coming to 3 laps to go. Doing my best to try to save up some of that ERS. Gotten pretty low in the last couple laps. So we'll do a very quick mid-session save.
There's 3 laps of fuel remaining.
Really been attacking that chicane there.
Green flag.
Oh, something's going on behind us. Everything's gonna maybe a Mazepin. I think something must have happened to Nikita Mazepin. Oh, would you look at that? Nikita Mazepin spins it out into the wall. In that tight chicane, just trying to stay out of the way. And Nikita Mazepin rears his ugly head once again. Now it's 2 laps to go. And we are still close to Verstappen, but not at a point where we can pass him for the race lead. Could have taken that complex corners a little bit better. Still could have done a better job with that. Keep hitting those curbs. Very tricky. Lost a little speed, but at least I took that complex a little bit better. And talking about it, I completely missed the next corner, so not ideal. And a track like this, where there's so little opportunities to overtake. It's all about trying to match the car ahead of you, move for move, just to stay in touch. Here we go, this could be it. Coming to the white flag, starting the final lap of the race. We're right on Verstappen's tail. Have we saved up enough ERS?
We've only got 2 laps of fuel left.
Here we go.
This is your final lap of the race.
Closing, closing, closing. Gonna go left for the lead on the last lap of the race. We got it. No rewinds needed. We have taken the lead. Oh my goodness. We have to make it around. Still got at least a half a lap to go. Trying to keep Verstappen at bay. Oh my gosh. Those are the type of battles I love. Just chasing the guy down and getting him on the last lap of the race. And again, it's not over yet. Verstappen is still behind us. Actually fell back a little bit there. We do have some ERS saved if we need it. Best spots to use it coming off the final corner. But here comes Verstappen. Might be looking for something here. Late lunge. No, not gonna work. Come around the final corner. Blast the ERS. We're going to be going 2 for 3 to start the year.
You worked hard for that one. Congratulations.
What an incredible sprint to the not a sprint to the finish, but a run to the finish, I guess you could say.
You can't fault the performance
where
on the
we've
track
come
today.
through.
A well-deserved
Last
victory.
lap pass to get the win.
Tell me, Ant, how did they manage to achieve
In Imola.
this win?
I think a large part of the result comes down to temperament.
Acura Team Penske.
When everyone around them is losing
Top
theirs,
step of the
and
podium.
that's allowed them to get the best out of the car, to maximise the strategy,
And Mercedes
to stay out of trouble.
0 for 3 to start the year with their all-star
A
driver
show-stopping
lineup.
performance from the 3 drivers approaching the podium right now. It's been an interesting Grand Prix, that's for sure.
Verstappen will surely take the championship lead, but he was really hoping for that win. Would have been, 25 points instead of 18 points that he got out of the race.
The Golden Boy takes over the lead of the Drivers' Championship. Some amazing
Oh.
talents out on the track today. But
Really?
Anthony, who would you pick as your driver of the day?
Yuki Tsunoda gets my vote today.
It's time to check out the constructors' standings. The lead at the top comes down after a strong weekend from the challenging pack. Meanwhile, Ferrari have improved their position. A strong weekend from them as they fight their way towards the top. Well, Ant, an end to another fantastic weekend of racing. Thanks to everyone who joined us, and we'll see you for the next one.
Well, there you have it. That was the Emilia-Romagna Grand Prix at Imola. And just taking a look at the race results here, I guess Ricciardo notably had to make another pit stop. Must have had wing damage at some point. Drops back to 15th after starting 5th. He was, of course, running in the top 10. Standings-wise, constructors, Red Bull still leads over Mercedes, only by 9 points. We were back by 33. Ferrari jumps Aston Martin for P4, partly due to George Russell's DNF. And driver standings, it's very close after 3 races. We lead. I guess that just goes to show, you know, Verstappen, had he won the race, he would be leading the standings by 2 points, if my math is correct on that, because he would have gained. Well, yeah, I guess it would have been only 1 point because Ricciardo got the fastest lap and he's outside the top 10, so obviously he doesn't get a point for that. But yeah, Verstappen would have been the lead by 1 point, but instead I lead by 5. So the IndyCar star outduels the defending Formula One world champion to win and take the title lead. Sergio Perez back by 17, Lewis Hamilton behind by 25. So once again, just like last year, Lewis Hamilton off to a very slow start, despite the fact that he has 2 podiums, but he's not where he wants to be. And I actually want to go back. I just want to relive that pass, that late pass for the lead. Once we skip all the way over to lap 32. Here it is from the standpoint of the track cameras. Made the move to the left. I was thinking of going right, but I felt like the move was to go to the left. And that's exactly what we did. More from the camera. You can see right here, I thought going right, then I waited and went to the left, knowing that the left side had been the better line to this corner. Pretty much the entire race weekend. Or the entire race. And you can see Verstappen. I think he tried to make me go to the right, but I stuck it and just kept it to the left, and it took the race win. So there you go. That was the Emilia-Romagna Grand Prix at Imola. Good result. Exactly the result we were looking for. All good.
The fans really seem to enjoy that. You made it look easy. You took the top points today. Was it a comfortable win? You're leading the championship. Are you happy to be there or feeling the pressure? What do you think made the difference between this weekend and last weekend? You're beating all expectations. Would you say we all underestimated you? Appreciate your time.
Yeah, raked in a good amount of money. No damage deductions. So everything looking good after that one. $4.79 million in the bank. Alright, before we do that event, let's go to activities. Weight training. Funded team event. And visiting sponsor headquarters. All look like good ideas.
How do you want us to deal with this one?
I really think Giovinazzi needs to start picking up the pace a little bit. So I'm going to decline and improve his racecraft.
The department wants me to pass on their thanks for helping out.
So, just want to check the departments. Oh, we can improve the analysis suite. Multiple failures. That's not good. That's not good at all.
I know we were expecting some new developments to come through, but some of them have failed quality control. We'll need to tell the team what to redevelop via the R&D screen.
Well, let's take a look here. For some reason, it's still not popping up properly. That will cost $563. That will cost $349. So unfortunately, I get to make a tough choice here. Why don't we get the major one out of the way? I guess this one will have to wait until the next race weekend. Or I guess wait until after Portimao. So that sucks. So let me check. When exactly is the Spanish Grand Prix on the calendar? So it's May 7th. So going back, so we did get an engine upgrade coming into this race. So we should get that minor chassis upgrade, so at least we'll have something going into Spain with an upgrade, just to continue going up the chart. So yeah, and the spaces look a little bit more severe than they do, But really what they did is after season 1, because everyone was so close, they zoomed in on the chart. So it appears that the performance is much different, or much bigger, the gaps, but they're not as big as, it's just more of the chart placement. But yeah, that's it for the race at Imola, and next time we'll be in Portimao for the Portuguese Grand Prix.